Então, agora temos uma apresentação, é a penúltima, que é The 7 Complex Lessons from Edgar Morin Applied in Fashion Design Education for Sustainability, e será proferida pela Joana, Luisa, Ferreira, Loureço da Cunha. Xiii. São só nomes. Não se esqueceram nenhum, pois não, Joana?
Não se esqueceram nenhum. So, good morning to everyone. My students like my full name. Okay, this work that I'm going to present is a reflection that me, Fernanda, and Luisa made after they completed their master degree that rose more questions than answers at the time. And I think Luisa just read Edgar Morin work, and it opened a discussion between the three of us, and from that discussion we decided to put this in paper, and that's what I'm going to talk a little bit today, trying not to take too much time. So what we did was we crossed the ideas of Edgar Morin with ideas from different authors that work in design field, like Manzini, Cardoso, several Papanek, several other authors. But what we tried to do is look to it through the glass of the fashion design teaching for a sustainable world. So, just to bring you a little bit of context, design schools began to develop in the 18th century. By the end of the 20th century, we had inclusion of design teaching in universities, and on that final years of the 20th century, we watched fashion design coming into the field of fine arts and into the design courses. And just to give you a context on time, between the end of the 1990s and the beginning of 2000, both in Brazil and Portugal, there were adaptations to new curricula guidelines from demands that came to us from the Bologna Agreement and for the need in Brazil also to adapt the curricula. And in this stage, our society changed. We are in a capitalism and commercialization society, and the teaching of the design didn't change as much as that, okay? So the curricular and the term curricular solidifies the idea that the elements of a course should be organized in an orderly and sequential way for greater control of the teaching process, structuring knowledge in the form of sequential subjects related or not between them. So the curricular idea is based on this ideological consensus in which investigations will be performed in a circular way and not always linked to the complexity of the organization of our social life. But, however, we also see that the curricular considered to be democratic must be, therefore, be humanized, considering the cultural and social differences of those who will use it and introducing new knowledge to the students that we have at universities. So it's on this idea of the curricular that we use in our studies still is very linear, and we have to move outside of it, that our main concerns start to arise. And sustainability methodologies in fashion design do already exist, but we have this feeling that they exist in this non-linear way without being interdisciplinary and even less without being transdisciplinary as they should be. We have seen and studied several different curriculars on the Portuguese and Brazilian scope, and we see this lack of integration, transdisciplinary integration of sustainability. And our approach bases then on this reflection that this Edgar Morin brought to us on a work that was asked to be done by the UNESCO to think about teaching in the 21st century. And in this work, Edgar Morin talks about a need for a transdisciplinary approach to the study in general, from primary school to university, okay? This is not in our field of thought. So the teaching of design is of great importance for the new sustainable markets. We have been discussing this from the beginning of the week in EIMAD. We have approaches that are based on philosophical, artistical, political, cultural, and environment issues of society. They do exist, but we think that the transdisciplinary teaching needs to develop a repertoire of information that is really capable of solving problems, creating new products, and interpreting social behaviors and trends. We see that Berlin already talks about transdisciplinary in the teaching of fashion design. Cardoso also brings us the issue of the transdisciplinarity needed. So this is not something new that we came upon our ideas. We just crossed different thoughts. And trying to move quickly to the facets of Edgar Morin, and they are complex because they are complex. And he points out that universities, college, and institutions of higher education main role is to foster the critical vision and knowledge of their students. And in this view, the education system needs to be in constant renewal, okay? And in constant renewal, adapting itself to society and to the global society. And according to him, it's not possible to dissociate education activities from economic behavior and sustainable trends. And to finalize upon Apple, Apple defends that transdisciplinary is interesting in developing content generated for several different sources at the same time. And fashion design is a little bit like that. Also, I brought here Santos in a thought of that transdisciplinary learning involves mental, emotional, and body dimensions. It's not just listening to the professor or doing. We need to go far beyond this. And our approach is based on this detecting error and illusion, the principles of pertinent knowledge, teaching the human condition, Earth identity, confronting uncertainties, understanding each other, and ethics for human gender, which were the 7 complex problems that Edgar Morin remarked for the teaching in 21st century. What is this about? I'll try to explain a little bit about each one of them. I think I have 2 minutes. And this is a complex matter. But the detecting error and illusion should respond to our aspirations, not only of men and women of the 3rd millennium, but of human beings. We need to teach for the world in a place through which knowledge permeates and is passed on, through information that circulates through various media, such as the internet, social networks, newspapers, and books. And this error and delusion is the error and delusion of the easy information that sometimes lead us to error and to illusions. We need to go deeper in these subjects. The pertinent knowledge means not quantitative values, but qualitative values, is on the attitude and needs to be contextualized. Pertinent knowledge is probably one of the most important issues that I would like to remind here, that is linked to when we listen, when we are children learning, we learn the meaning of a word. The house means house, and house can mean where I live, where I don't live, where I want to live. House by itself doesn't mean a lot. We need to understand house, in what context are we talking about house? And inside this context, in the bigger society context. So contextualizing is important for us to know what is pertinent knowledge, what do we need to teach, and we need to think about this in our studies. We only have 10 minutes, and I'm gone with the 10 minutes of presentation. Trying to summarize the most important ones, it's about teaching values, teaching our history. Where did we came from? Where are we going? If we do not know our past, we won't be able to make a better future. So, I could be talking about this for 2 hours. I strongly invite you to read papers. I think that we were more clear on it. But to reflect, it's important, but action must be done. We need to change the way we are teaching. And we need to change into thinking about values, what is really important, who are we as humans, how different we are. It's not about talking, it's about doing also. Thank you very much.
Obrigada, professora Joana. Nós já discutimos isto muito a semana passada. Não, esta semana, já parece que passou muito tempo, mas esta semana ainda, na verdade. Eu ia abrir para alguma questão. Esta hora já está tudo cheio. Mas eu vou provocar aqui a professora Joana. Não provoques, não. Por onde é que isto deve começar? É pelas universidades?
É pelas universidades que têm que dar o exemplo. As universidades têm um papel preponderante na sociedade. Tá? Nós não podemos exigir aos nossos governos que façam alguma coisa, enquanto somos os investigadores que mais pensam, somos nós que temos tido, ao longo da história, esta capacidade de mudar o mundo com aquilo que desenvolvemos nos vários campos da medicina, as ciências sociais, e eu acho que compete à universidade dar este passo e mostrar aos nossos governantes que a mudança é necessária e que precisa ser feita. Temos essa responsabilidade, na minha visão.
Sem dúvida, até porque nós estamos a formar o futuro, não é? Está certo. Ok.
A questão é que, desculpem, a questão é que os investigadores têm sempre muitas perguntas. E isso é uma parte, é a razão pela qual muda, na verdade, mas é a razão pela qual assusta ouvir um investigador, não é? Tem muitas perguntas sempre.
Sim, já.
Mas às vezes são melhores as perguntas do que as respostas. É que nos fazem pensar, não é?